All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we're going to now get into talking about Deshaun Watson of the Cleveland Browns once again re-rupturing his Achilles. And it seems like he's going to miss, well, he's going to miss a lot of 2025, but most likely, I would imagine he's going to miss all of 2025. And we were in our production meeting on Friday, and the news broke. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to talk about that next week because I already did my show. I mean, most of the hosts haven't had done their show yet, so they were able to talk about it. But this is the first time that I will be discussing it since it happened. So he underwent surgery Thursday for tearing his right Achilles tendon again. We didn't hear about it till, like I said, we didn't hear about it till Friday. Recovery time and return to play status is uncertain, but he will likely miss significant time during the 2025 season, and that's what sources told Adam Schefter. Watson's recovery is expected to take at least 7 months. During his season-ending exit interview earlier this week, he did complain about some discomfort after rolling his ankle while in Miami, and an MRI revealed a re-rupture to his Achilles tendon and had to go through surgery. Now, he tore his Achilles on October 20th, and that was the second straight year that his season ended prematurely. The previous year, he only played 8 games, and that was before he, hurt his throwing shoulder. And, the Browns made the playoffs last year. This year was a disaster. They did not get the same level of play at quarterback like they did last year. And, yeah, and the Browns, they reworked his contract. He has 2 years remaining on the 5-year deal, fully guaranteed $230 million. He signed back in before the 2022 season. The Browns owe Watson $46 million in each of the next 2 seasons, as he has cap hits of $72.9 million in 2025 and 2026, currently the second highest in the NFL. Watson has played in just 19 games since the Browns traded 3 first-round picks for him in March of 2022. He posted the lowest total QBR in the NFL before his season-ending injury. The Browns and Watson in late December agreed to rework his contract, adding void years that allow the Browns to push out his dead salary cap into 2030, and that's what league sources told ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. So, yeah, this contract is going to go down. This deal is going to go down as one of the worst, if not the worst deal in NFL history, because Deshaun Watson, not only has he just not played, but even when he has played, he has not been effective. He has taken a significant drop in his level of play, and now he just can't stay on the field. And the Browns are now in a spot where, you have the number 2 overall pick, probably got to take a quarterback. Now, they could go the veteran route because, there are still some good players on this roster. Now, maybe they move off of some guys. Maybe they end up trading Myles Garrett. I know that's been an idea that's kind of been floated around, but there are still good players on this team that, maybe if you do bring in a veteran, and try to compete next year, could go that route, but I don't know. I think you have the number 2 overall pick. I mean, you probably try to, take a quarterback, whether it's Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, unless, Deion Sanders blocks the first 2 teams, the Titans and the Browns, from taking Shedeur Sanders. But we'll have to wait and see if that happens. But the Browns got to figure out their quarterback situation. And it's just amazing how the previous season, Kevin Stefanski wins Coach of the Year because they had to start 5 different starting quarterbacks. They made the playoffs. And you go into this year and you figure, oh, maybe, could it happen again? No. It was the polar opposite. Polar opposite to what happened the previous season. And it's just, the Browns have, haven't been able to figure it out. And, I've said it. Many other people have said it. They made a mistake moving off of Baker Mayfield because it really that decision was not a good one. Kevin Stefanski, I guess, didn't really want Baker. And we also talked about this as well. I mean, Baker's a different guy than he was a few years ago. He's definitely matured more from everything that he's been through. So I guess I get it from that perspective. But either way, they haven't done anything since he's left. Since they got Watson. I mean, they took a risk. Now, at the time, we thought Deshaun Watson was going to be an upgrade over Baker Mayfield, even though he missed an entire season. And like I said, even before the injuries, he wasn't playing up to his standard. Because Deshaun Watson, before all the off-the-field stuff happened, he was one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. And then all of that stuff came out, missed the season. He played a little bit towards the end of the 2022 season and then, played a little bit last year. And it's just, he just wasn't the same guy. Now he's ruptured his Achilles twice in a matter of months. I mean, is he ever going to step on the football field again? I mean, his intentions are probably, yes, he's going to try to. But right now, I just don't see it. Because again, even before these injuries, he wasn't playing well. And are the Browns really going to try to justify this move? Are they going to continue to do that? So if he's healthy, if he somehow can jump back in next year, are they really going to want to have him take the field when we all know he just doesn't have it anymore? I mean, this is a long time from now. But I think they should draft one of these two quarterbacks. And yeah, maybe you do bring in a veteran, but you're going to bring in a veteran that's not costly. I mean, there's a possibility we could see Kirk Cousins. I don't know. I don't know. I could see why people would think that, but I don't know. I think maybe you bring in, a cheaper option and you have them start, have the rookie quarterback sit behind them. I mean, that's easier said than done, but I think the Deshaun Watson era in Cleveland should be over. I think this was his chance and wasn't playing well at all. Like, at least last year, like, they went on the road and they beat the Ravens. He had some flashes, but this year there was nothing. I think their only win was against Jacksonville with Deshaun Watson. And Jacksonville was not good either. So I just think the Browns got to go in a different direction. I think, if you have Watson on the roster, so be it. But I don't think he should play another snap for this team. And that's the case. I don't think he should play another snap, period. Because I just don't think he doesn't. I just think he doesn't have it anymore. And back-to-back Achilles injuries. I mean, that's very tough to come back from. So that's kind of where I'm at with the Deshaun Watson situation. But this is what the Browns did. They took a risk and they gave up a lot. They helped out the Texans and their rebuild because now they've been a playoff team back-to-back years, and they got a playoff win on Saturday. Again, we'll get into that this week as well. They defeated the Chargers. That was a rout. Well, it became a rout late, but they got the win. They'll be playing again this upcoming weekend. But they helped out the Texans with their rebuild by getting Deshaun Watson, taking him off their hands. And, They finished in last in their division, and that's the other thing too. They even with Deshaun Watson, I mean, the Bengals, they had a disappointing year. They got hot late, but you know, you figure they're going to figure it out next year. Get better defensively. The Ravens are still going to be there. The Steelers are always competitive, even though they got to figure out their quarterback situation. But right now, the Browns are last, and they got to figure some stuff out. And again, there's still some good players on this team. They got one of the best defensive players in the league, if not the best defensive player in the league. You saw how the Jerry Jeudy trade worked out for them. He played well for them this year. The defense as a whole is still, a solid unit. Might have to do some revamping. David Njoku's a solid tight end. We'll see what they end up doing with Nick Chubb. He might be gone. But, like I said, there's still talent on this team. But they need to figure out the quarterback situation. And there's a couple things they could do. And they got a high draft pick. Now, maybe they could trade down. Who knows? But they are going to prioritize it, and they've said it. They were going to bring in competition for Watson before he tore his Achilles again. But there are things they could do. If they draft a quarterback, bring in a veteran, you do both, we'll have to wait and see. But let me know what you guys think about Deshaun Watson rupturing his Achilles again. What do you think the Browns should do with their quarterback situation? Who do you think is out there that they could bring in that would be a good fit? Or maybe you just think they draft a quarterback and you just bring in a backup. Let me know in the comments. So before we go to break, just want to remind you guys once again to tip or donate and get your comments recognized. Make sure to hit that super chat button in the chat if you want to see me acknowledge any thought or comment you may have throughout the live broadcast. Makes the show more lively, more entertaining between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. We appreciate you guys' viewership each and every day. So any contribution you can make to the show means the world to us as we put out content for you guys each and every day. And also the other way to help out the show is by going to the link at the bottom of the show segment on the ticker, GSMCPodcast.net. That is GSMCPodcast.net. So when we come back from our second break, we will talk about the Ravens-Steelers game from Saturday. We'll talk about the performances by Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and the Steelers once again losing another playoff game, and they were one and done. So we'll get into all that when we come back. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.